Hi, it's Kathy Freeman with Real Positive Change, taking stress and turning it into motivation. It's time to get your supplies and start joining me on some of these videos. Let me take you for a moment on the journey that it took me to figure out what it is that I wanted to use, that I felt would work the best for me. Years ago, I think it was about 5-6 years ago, I went ahead and just got a inexpensive dollar store journal and went ahead and made the cover. It's all painted and all different kinds of wonderful textures. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. The only thing though is I am not someone that sits and writes a lot in their journal. I will journal thoughts, impressions that come, but I don't sit and just write. I like to be creative in my journal. I like to have a lot of color and different things that grab my eye and express different ways of expressing it. And so I found that the paper in these journals is too thin. You can take this though and glue several of them together, put some gesso on it, and create a stronger surface for you to work on. But I thought, oh, that's a lot of work. I'd rather find something that I'm not sitting there pasting 3 or 4 pages together. So I'm going to use that when I do just record thoughts and I've got just some thoughts that I want to do. I will sit there and put that to good use. Then I decided, okay, I've got a lot of other things that need to go in. I really like to include my day planner and set my goals and just all kinds of things. So when I go to my meetings and that, I've got it all in one, because having so many different things and trying to find all those things is really a challenge for myself. So then I moved to this mini 3-ring binder. And this works beautifully when I go to my meetings. I went ahead and created my own day planner and a system for my goals. And I used this and decided I actually used this last year, all during 2018. But I still found that it was cumbersome. It wasn't fulfilling the need of exactly what it was that I was looking for, something that would be comfortable and small enough to pack with me everywhere I went. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about size, haven't I? Well, then you're going to be surprised at the next thing that I went ahead and got. And I just got kind of tired of the size thing. And I thought, you know what? I've got this great sketch book. I'll just use that. I needed something that I could put the create reminders in. I wanted to keep the paper in that I had been working on so I could see the process, the path, the beginnings of the final product, you might say. And so I wanted something large enough I could put that paper in and then give me some space to be creative, because our mind is so visual. We think visually. And I wanted to be able to really emphasize what it was that I was wanting to focus on by putting some kind of doodle or some kind of creative expression. And that's what I went ahead and did when I created this page that I posted earlier in another blog. However, having that much space there to work with then became more of a chore than a pleasure. It was nice to have the space, but I thought doing this every single time would take a lot of thinking on my part. And I wanted something that was a little bit smaller, not quite as large, so that I could take it with me when I'm out doing things with the kids, or I'm in moments where I have extra time and I can sit there and doodle with and add other stuff too. So I thought, okay, I'm going to keep that, I'm going to use that, but I was still on my search. Then I came across what they call traveler's notebooks, traveler's journals. And I wasn't really sure what that was, but as I researched and I looked a little more, I thought, that's what I'm looking for. And so I went ahead and purchased one from a store and found that that's about the right size, but the paper that got inserted in it was too small. And I know it sounds strange, but if it's too large, too small, it's almost like Goldilocks. It just wasn't working for me. And so I had to find the right thing. Now, I had another planner. I actually have another planner that I use that is a disc-bound system. And I've enjoyed that because I like the flexibility of being able to take the pages and pull them right out and then stick them in easily. It's not that it's any simpler than a 3-ring binder. A 3-ring binder is pretty simple, but it must be all those years of getting my fingers pinched in those little brackets or whatever that has kind of turned me away from that whole system. So I went ahead and started my hunt for the right size. And that's a challenge. And what was the right size? Well, the right size for me right now is basically I wanted to be able to take my Create Reminders worksheet, print 2 to a page so that I could condense the paper I was using, and be able to fold it in half, because it's very easy to buy cheap paper, copy paper, from the local store and print off on that. So I wanted something that would be that size, and something that I could punch this and stick this into. Those binders, the 3-ring binders, would work just fine. It actually was working. But there again, there was just something about that that I really wasn't enjoying. So I went ahead and started my search. And what I came across was, let me grab the name of it so I can tell you. It's by T-U-L. I really don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to make a mess of myself. Tool? I don't know. T-U-L. I have it listed on my website under the supplies page. So you can find that and be able to look it up if you're interested. But I went for just a simple, black, sturdy cover, easy to use book. And it was the right size. It already came with some paper in it, but there again, it's heavier than the dollar store paper, but this really isn't great when you're wanting to use a lot of markers, and it definitely won't hold up if I wanted to add some watercolor to it. So I decided that this book is going to be my worksheet collection book. I want to keep these worksheets. I want to see what my progress has been. I want to be able to track myself, hence why we call it a journal, right? So it fit in here just perfectly. Then if I need some extra pages, it's got some nice writing paper in here I can use. It's also a great size that if I want to add some artwork to it, I can get this size in watercolor paper, multimedia paper, all different kinds of paper that can actually, it's already pre-cut. I can use it, take it, punch it, and stick it right in behind that sheet. So I have that flexibility of just one book. Then I got thinking, well, as I went ahead and found the book that I could use that had the paper in it, I thought, this is a journal that I'm going to be wanting to keep to look back on. And so I decided, instead of ripping these pages out, which is what my original intent was, I'm going to keep it bound. I'm going to keep it bound, and I'm going to keep them together. So that's still small enough. It's compact. It's not cumbersome to me. I can go ahead and use this, and I can also rip out these pages if I get tired of. See, it's a little bit hard to open. It wants to pull itself back. So I may go ahead and pull those out and then go ahead and stick them in this. But if I decide to keep it bound, I can add other paper to it. This is a watercolor paper. It's nice and heavy, and it will definitely hold up to a lot of different kinds of mediums. So this is what I'm going to use now. And I wanted to show you and tell you, decide on what it is that you want to start using, because it's important to keep a journal, and it's important to be able to express creatively what it is that you've learned, because that will cement it in your mind. So if you're interested in these, you'll find the links on my website. Otherwise, go ahead, go to your local craft store, whatever you want to, and find yourself something that will work for you. And let's get started.